When 9,000 people go silent at the same moment, it's not because something dramatic happened, it's because something sacred was violated. And when a 400-pound man, who has never touched the ground in 12 years, refuses to show respect to someone half his size, the question isn't whether he'll regret it. The question is how long it takes him to understand what he just invited. Tokyo, Kuramae Kokugikan, October 16, 1971. Saturday evening, 7 o'clock. The sacred home of sumo wrestling smells like wet clay and decades of discipline. 9,000 people fill every seat. This isn't a tournament. This is something that almost didn't happen, a cultural exchange demonstration that required 3 weeks of institutional debate before approval. The Japanese Sumo Association split nearly even. Traditionalists argued the dohyo, the sacred raised platform where sumo happens, was inviolable. Foreign martial arts had no place there. Modernists argued cultural exchange strengthened tradition. They won by the narrowest margin. The debate didn't end. It moved here. Tonight, 9,000 witnesses will decide who was right. The air inside is thick with anticipation and tension that has nothing to do with sport. This is about culture, honor, tradition, meeting change. The wooden arena holds the weight of history. Banners with Chinese calligraphy hang from the ceiling. The dohyo sits in the center, under bright lights, a raised platform of packed clay mixed with sand. Sacred space. Every sumo wrestler who steps onto it bows first. Every match begins with ritual. Every movement has meaning that goes back centuries. Bruce Lee arrives at 7:15 through a side entrance most visitors never see. He's wearing plain black training pants, barefoot, no shirt. At 5'7", 135 pounds, he doesn't look like someone about to challenge the oldest combat sport in Japan. He looks like someone who got lost on the way to a different event. The liaison from the organizing committee walks ahead of him, visibly nervous. A translator keeps pace beside Bruce. They stop at the edge of the performance area. The liaison turns, voice low. "Mr. Lee, the wrestler they've chosen is Yokozuna Takamura." Bruce waits. Grand champion, undefeated 12 years, very traditional, very proud. The man pauses. He may not cooperate. Bruce's expression doesn't change. That's his choice. The liaison nods slowly, leads him to a waiting area near the dohyo. Bruce sits on a wooden bench polished by decades of weight and discipline. He doesn't stretch, doesn't rehearse movements, just sits, breathing steady, watching the crowd finish filling the arena. At 7:30, the eastern entrance opens. The crowd rises as one body. The movement creates a wave, a vibration that runs from floor to ceiling. Yokozuna Takamura appears. He wears the kesho mawashi, the ceremonial apron embroidered with his stable's emblem. 412 pounds, distributed with precise logic. His legs are bridge pillars. His torso is a barrel. His arms thick enough to crush ribs. His traditional top knot is perfect. His face carved from stone, expressionless authority. He climbs onto the dohyo. The platform creaks under his weight. He performs the ritual stomps shiko with solemn precision. Each foot rises slowly, falls with calculated force, symbolically driving evil spirits from the ring. The sound echoes deep, like the earth responding to his presence. When he finishes, he stands center circle, looks toward Bruce, doesn't speak. His eyes say everything. You don't belong here. Drop a comment if you've ever watched someone's reputation get tested in front of everyone. The referee climbs onto the dohyo. Black traditional robes with gold trim. His face carefully neutral. In sumo, a referee represents the rule, not an opinion. He gestures for Bruce to enter the ring. Bruce stands, walks barefoot to the platform. The clay is cold, slightly damp, compact under his feet. He moves naturally to his position. No theatrics. The size difference draws murmurs from the crowd. Takamura looks capable of destroying him with one movement. The referee speaks in Japanese, explaining the demonstration rules. The translator leans toward Bruce, repeats quietly. Takamura will perform a ceremonial charge. You demonstrate evasion. No full contact, no injuries, respect between disciplines. When the explanation finishes, the referee bows solemnly to both men. Bruce responds immediately. Deep bow, torso inclined precisely 45 degrees. Clean, deliberate, not automatic. Conscious recognition. His hands descend calmly. Shoulders relax. Posture transmits respect for the sacred space, for the tradition that sustains it. No challenge in the gesture, no provocation, just discipline, understanding, clear acceptance of ritual. Takamura doesn't move. He remains upright, arms crossed over chest, watching Bruce with cold, distant eyes, almost contemptuous. His gaze contains no curiosity, no courtesy. It's the look of someone who has already judged and won't reconsider. The crowd noise dies like someone cut power. 9,000 people, absolute silence. In sumo, refusing to return a bow isn't just rude, it's a formal declaration. It means the opponent is unworthy of respect, that their presence is an intrusion into sacred space, that tradition stands above any gesture of courtesy. The referee's face tenses almost imperceptibly. He approaches Takamura, speaks low, the authority of someone trying to preserve order without creating conflict, asking him to reconsider, fulfill the ritual, maintain ceremony's dignity. Takamura listens without moving, without changing posture, then shakes his head once, brief, definitive, irreversible, still doesn't bow. The referee looks at Bruce. His eyes seem to apologize for a moment. Bruce straightens slowly from his bow. His expression remains serene, unshaken. He observes Takamura for several seconds with calm attention. No anger, no wounded pride. Then nods once, accepting the situation as it is. No resistance, no need for words. The referee steps back, raises his hand. Signal. Takamura descends into combat stance. Not the ceremonial position they'd agreed to for simple demonstration. Real attack posture. The explosive position used in actual combat. The stance of someone not willing to perform a show but to impose will. His center of gravity drops. Muscles tense. Breathing becomes short, powerful. The referee hesitates. He could stop this. Has authority. Should stop it. But 9,000 people are watching. The weight of tradition, pride, collective expectation has accumulated in this instant. History is about to be written in front of everyone. The referee lowers his hand. Takamura explodes forward. The sound of his feet leaving clay is sharp, violent, like a shotgun fired in enclosed space. 412 pounds of muscle accelerating maximum speed in less than 6 feet. His hands extend toward Bruce's torso, fingers open, ready to grip, ready to push, ready to expel him from the ring, out of the sacred circle, back to the foreign place he never should have left. First instant, Bruce shifts left, barely centimeters, movement so small, most eyes don't perceive it. Takamura's right hand cuts through empty space. His fingers close on nothing. His eyes flash confusion. Bruce is no longer where he should be. Second instant, Takamura reacts fast, adjusting trajectory. His left hand sweeps air, trying to catch him. Fingers graze Bruce's shoulder. Feel fleeting contact with skin. Don't manage to hold. Bruce, already moving with the fluidity of someone who doesn't fight force, lets it pass. Third instant, Takamura plants right foot hard. All his mass reorganizes in a fraction of second. Body turns with controlled violence. Left hand advances in palm strike aimed directly at Bruce's sternum. If that impact connects, ribs fracture. The crowd leans forward. This stopped being demonstration. Fourth instant, Bruce's right hand intercepts the attack. Not rigid block. Minimal contact, almost imperceptible. Gentle pressure applied to Takamura's wrist. No clash, no visible force. Just redirection. The strike continues past Bruce's shoulder, and Takamura's own momentum begins dragging him forward, his weight already committed. Subscribe, because what happens in the next 3 seconds will show you what 400 pounds looks like when physics stops cooperating. Fifth instant. Bruce's left foot advances, positions discreetly behind Takamura's right ankle. Simple placement, silent, no apparent tension, not an act of force, an act of precision. Sixth instant. Bruce's right hand moves to Takamura's shoulder. Fingertips make contact with lightness almost symbolic. Directional touch, exact, like pointing an invisible path. Takamura's body already leaning forward. The fall has begun before anyone can comprehend it. Seventh instant, disconnection. Torso continues forward, obeying inertia. Blocked legs stop following. Coordination breaks. No longer question of will or strength, question of physics. Eighth instant, Takamura falls. 412 pounds hit clay with deep thunder. Dust rises in thick cloud. The dohyo trembles under impact. For 1 second, that seems eternal, time itself appears to stop inside Kuramae Kokugikan. Takamura lies on his back on the clay, breathing with difficulty, eyes open, fixed on the arena ceiling. From an angle he's never known before, his chest rises and falls slowly, as if his body needs to confirm it's still there, that the world continues existing after that impact. 12 years. 12 years since his back touched ground. His hands tremble slightly, barely perceptible, enough to betray something inside broke. Bruce takes 1 step back. Natural. No victory gesture. No exhibition of superiority. He remains standing, breathing normally, serene, as if what occurred was simply inevitable consequence of correct movement. Silence dominates the arena. 9,000 people motionless, not emitting a single sound. Takamura rises slowly. His hands leave deep prints in wet clay, visible marks of his weight, his effort. He stands with dignity, brushes dust from his mawashi, straightens torso. His face is red, not just from physical exertion, from internal shock. Takamura lifts his gaze toward Bruce. Something crosses his face. Complex emotion, difficult to name. He experienced the exact instant his ankle trapped. Light contact on his shoulder, the way his own weight was used against him. He knows what happened. Understanding doesn't make it acceptable. Then Takamura does something that surprises the crowd more than his fall. He bows, deep, deliberate, the bow he refused before. Bruce responds immediately with bow of same depth, mirroring the gesture with exactness, as if both men share ancient language without need for words. Takamura straightens, turns with discipline, walks toward dohyo's edge, descends the platform without looking back, without offering explanation. His figure moves away through eastern entrance, with intact dignity wrapped in silence. The crowd watches him leave with mixed emotions, confusion, disappointment, curiosity. The referee approaches Bruce, speaks low. Translator repeats. He says, "You should leave now, before this becomes something more." Bruce nods without arguing, descends dohyo naturally. The liaison appears backstage, visibly nervous. "This way, quick." They exit through the same side entrance. Bruce arrived hours before. Behind them, crowd noise begins growing. Arguments, accusations, conflicting opinions. Some claiming Bruce used improper techniques, others insisting Takamura provoked his own defeat. They reach a distant changing room. The liaison closes door rapidly. Noise reduced to distant echo. Share this with someone who needs to understand that respect isn't given, it's demonstrated. The translator breaks silence. "This wasn't supposed to happen this way." Bruce bends slightly, begins cleaning clay dust from his feet calmly. But it happened. The liaison's face is tense, anticipating consequences. The association will be furious. There'll be pressure. Bruce puts on shoes without hurry. "That's not my concern." He stands. They move toward rear exit. Door opens. October night, cold air in Tokyo envelops them. City continues usual rhythm, oblivious to small earthquake that just occurred inside Kuramae Kokugikan. Years later, a sports journalist located 3 witnesses from that night. Each offered different version, as if same event viewed from opposing perspectives. One affirmed Bruce Lee challenged Japanese tradition. Another held Takamura was exposed, his reputation depending more on custom than adaptation. A third, more reflective, said something that resonated with time. Both men revealed fundamental truth. Combat doesn't understand pride, only reality. Takamura never spoke publicly about that event. Continued competing some years, retired from Sumo in 1974, opened restaurant in Osaka. Quiet life away from spectacle center. When reporters asked about that night, always responded same phrase, "It was just a demonstration, nothing more." However, his students began noticing changes in his teaching. Emphasis on brute force diminished. Greater attention appeared to anticipation, reading opponent, adaptation. He didn't speak of that night, but his method revealed he'd learned deep lesson. Bruce Lee died in 1973. The Kuramae Kokugikan demonstration was never mentioned in official interviews. But years later, among his belongings, a handwritten note was found. Brief, direct, fell tonight. Mastery is temporary. Understanding is permanent. Even in victory, remain student. October 16, 1971. Tokyo, 75 seconds. One lesson some people took 30 years to understand. The man who refused respect learned it's earned through action, not demanded through tradition. 9,000 people went silent, not because they saw victory, but because they witnessed collision of 2 profound truths. And the smallest man in the room proved that size means nothing when you understand the space around your opponent better than he understands himself.